from Shea Stadium in New York. Today, the Mets take on the St. Louis Cardinals. Mets Baseball 89 is brought to you by Budweiser, Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By Manufacturers Hanover, the financial source worldwide. By Nissan, building cars for people who want more than just a means of getting from here to there. Nissan, built for the human race. By Metropolitan Life and affiliated companies. Get Met, it pays. By the New Jersey Bell Yellow Pages. No other book can match it. New Jersey Bell, a Bell Atlantic company. By your Lincoln Mercury dealers. And by the New York Daily News, New York's hometown paper. Pitching for the Cardinals this afternoon is Ken Hill. Ken, a tall right-hander, is record 6-8, an ERA of 3.43. And on the mound for the Mets, Bobby Ojeda, who has won his last 3 decisions. His record overall, 8-9, an ERA of 3.58. Flynn, who is the head of the ground crew here at Shea Stadium, should be given the MVG award. For the last 3 days, the most valuable grounds crew keeper here at Shea Stadium. To have gotten the last 2 games in is truly a remarkable feat. Friday night and last night, the Cardinals winning Friday night and the Mets winning last night, and this game will be played. We understand that it is going to be a 2:40 start this afternoon, and the Mets winning 3 out of 4 from the St. Louis Cardinals, only 4.5 behind the Chicago Cubs, and the Montreal Expos now losing to the Pittsburgh Pirates. So Pete Flynn and his ground crew doing a terrific job, and while we wait, we will take you to the greats of the game, and the theme this afternoon, MVPs, and that's what Pete's been the last 3 days.
Game is on, and Bob Ojeda on the mound for the New York Mets. He has a record of 8-9. He's 0-2 against the Cardinals this year, an earned run average of 3.58. He has walked 62, struck out 71, given up 139 hits in 140 2/3 innings. And lifetime, he's 4-3 against St. Louis.
All right, finally, after an hour and 6-minute delay, Vince Coleman leads it off, followed by Ozzie Smith. Pedro Guerrero, the first baseman, batting third. Tom Bernansky in the 4th slot for Whitey Herzog. Terry Pendleton, the third baseman, batting 5th. Jose Oquendo, and you got to tip your hat to this guy. What a job he has done in the major leagues as a switch hitter. It was tough at first, but not now, batting close to 300. Milt Thompson, the center fielder, hitting 7th. Tom Pagnozzi behind the plate, batting 8th. And Ken Hill on the hill.
And defensively for the Mets, Keith Hernandez at first base. Tim Tuffle is playing second base. Kevin Elster at shortstop, and Dave Magadan at third. Kevin McReynolds back in left field, Juan Samuel in center field, and Darryl Strawberry in right. And Ojeda's catcher is Barry Lyons. The umpires for this game: behind home plate, Randy Marsh; at first base, Bill Hahn; at second base, Harry Wendelstadt; and the umpire at third base, Gary Darling. So Vince Coleman in the batter's box, hitting .269 for the year with 1 home run, 26 runs batted in. And he will be awaiting the first pitch here after this rain delay of over 1 hour.
Infield is in terrific shape, but the outfield is very, very wet, especially the warning track in right field. So look for the speedy Cardinals to try to take advantage of the wet outfield. But the infield, there's the warning track in right field. The infield is in superb condition. Real tribute to Pete Flynn and that fine ground crew of his.
Just amazing that the park could be playable.
Really is.
And the first pitch by Ojeda called strike. Coleman with 31 infield hits so far this year. He has 10 bunt base hits. The Mets are defensive against the bunt. Both Hernandez and Magadan very shallow in their first base and third base positions. And a ground ball hit to Tim Tuffle, the second baseman, and Coleman is out as the ball game gets underway. Coleman has been on base just 5 times in this 5-game series, and he's had 2 stolen bases. Of course, he leads the National League in stolen bases with 52, and he's been thrown out only twice all year. That'll bring up Ozzie Smith. Ozzie 5 for 18 in the series. hitting .278 for the year with 1 home run, 41 runs batted in. Cardinals lead the National League in team batting at .257. And this ball hit the deep left field. It's way back. McReynolds to the warning track. Now to the fence. It's off the fence. And Ozzie Smith goes in with a double. Ball hitting off of the glove of Kevin McReynolds and then bouncing down in the field. In yesterday's ball game, one of the most interesting catches ever made by Mark Carrion off Ozzie Smith.
Well, this is a ball that McReynolds usually comes up with, and the ball indeed was off of his glove, off the thumb of the glove. It's going to be scored a double, but a ball that could have been handled. It appeared that Kevin had problems with the sun. He's looking up right now. When you're going back at that angle, I guess in some respects, Ralph, it's an easier play than catching a ball where you have to face the sun, because you can get an angle on that sun and kind of hold your glove up to ward off the glare.
Sometimes those glasses make it too dark for you to really pick the ball up if it's out of the sun. And now the batter is Pedro Guerrero, and he takes a pitch for ball 1. In yesterday's ball game, Ozzie Smith hit one that was high off the fence, and Carrion reached up and it hit his glove and bounced out. Unfortunately for the Mets, it didn't bounce over the fence, and Carrion caught it with his bare hand, and that kept the Cardinals from tying the ball game up.
It's been the talk around the stadium this morning.
This ball hit the center field. Samuel there. Tagging up at second is Ozzie Smith. He'll cross over to third, but he gets there with 2 men out. So Tom Bernansky now the batter with a runner at third base and 2 men out, and Frank Viola had this to say about pitching to Tom Bernansky.
Over to third. I'm his teammate in Minnesota and seeing him then and facing him the 2 times here last couple of weeks. You don't want to give him a set pattern. You know, Bruno all these years has known that I've had a real good changeup, and I can still get him out, but I have to keep it out of the strike zone. You know, if he's thinking about a pitch, he's a good guess hitter. If he's thinking about a pitch, he's going to swing at it regardless of location, and I think I was able to get away with a couple of changeups because of that. But the one thing with Bruno, he's going to hurt you somewhere along the line. But the best thing is just not to set pattern. Just throw fastball, change, curve. Give him a little mix so you play a little head game with him.
Do you pitch any differently with men on base?
Not really.
So here's Tom Bernansky with a 1-strike count on the foul ball, and this pitch outside for ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bernansky hitting .243 for the year, 14 home runs, 60 runs batted in. Ojeda pitches very similar to Frank Viola, and there's a changeup, and he hits it on the end of the bat down to Elster at shortstop. Dakota first will end the inning, and the Cardinals leave 1 at third. The score at the end of 1/2 inning, St. Louis nothing. The Mets coming up, and here's a word from Nissan. Hill, and he has a record of 6-8, no decisions against the Mets this year. And he has an earned run average of 3.43. He's walked 70, struck out 78, given up 134 hits in 141 2/3 innings. And lifetime against the Mets, he is 0-1.
And the lineup for the Mets, Juan Samuel leading it off, followed by Tim Tuffle against the right-hander. That's an interesting thing, and we'll talk about it during the broadcast. Keith Hernandez at first base hitting third. Darryl Strawberry batting fourth, followed by Kevin McReynolds. Dave Magadan at third base this afternoon. His 18th start at third this year. Barry Lyons, the catcher, hitting seventh. Kevin Elster at shortstop batting eighth, and Bobby Ojeda batting ninth.
And the defense for the Cardinals, Guerrero at first base, Oquendo at second, Smith at short, Pendleton at third. In the outfield, Coleman, Thompson, and Bernansky left to right. And Pagnazzi will be the catcher. Mets have won 7 of the 13 games with the Cardinals this year, and blue skies up above with a few clouds floating by. As Juan Samuel steps into the batter's box as the leadoff batter. Juan hitting .255, 11 home runs, 35 RBIs, and ball 1. Samuel with the Mets hitting .264 with 3 home runs and 15 runs batted in. And there's ball 2. Ken Hill has allowed a lot of walks. He's walked 70 and struck out 78. Not a good ratio.
Anytime you see a pitcher around 1-1, then you know the danger signs and wildness.
And another one high for ball 3. He also has made 9 wild pitches, so when you're on the bases, you got to be alive. 3-0 to Juan Samuel. And he walks his first batter without throwing a strike.
Second baseman, number 11.
That'll bring up Tim Tuffle and Whitey Herzog.
That's predictable, that sentiment.
10 years with the St. Louis Cardinals, the second most wins by any Cardinal manager. And sitting down on the bench with him is Red Shandies, who holds the record for the most Cardinal wins ever.
1,028 for Shandies, 763 for the White Rat. I tell you, when you're nicknamed the White Rat, it has to be affectionate.
Yeah, that could be very, very serious if it wasn't said in an affectionate way. Coleman, the left fielder, going in to get some sunglasses.
Ralph, I found it very interesting. You had your Kiner's Corner show, interesting the remarks of Davy Johnson in handling his second base situation this year. And I find it very interesting also as you see the newly inducted member in the Hall of Fame, Red Shandies, with the glasses on. I find it interesting also to see Tuffle batting against a right-handed pitcher today. Keith Miller has been starting at second, Greg Jeffries for 3 months, and now Tuffle with a chance against a right-hander.
Against a right-hand pitcher, and he gets a fastball, and it's called a strike. Tuffle hitting .259. He has 1 home run, 12 runs batted in, a lifetime .265 hitter. This is his 7th year in the major leagues. In this series, he's 0 for 3. Throw to first base, and Samuel gets back.
That's a deceptive graphic as you see the other second base candidates. Keith Miller on your left, Greg Jeffries, of course. Timmy batting .219 against right-handers, close to .280 against left-handers. He hadn't played that many games against right-handers.
And it's chopped right back to the pitcher, Hill. They go for 2, and the throw in the dirt gets by Guerrero and then bounces down into foul territory, and Tuffle ends up at second.
Smart base running. If you're going to hit into a fielder's choice, players try to, when they pass first base, if the ball's in the dirt, you try to kick it out to right field, right? That's smart. Saying that tongue-in-cheek, of course. Oquendo, good hard slide by Samuel. And that ball hitting Tuffle, and he kind of nudges it out into right field. But watch Oquendo. There are different ways how second basemen try to protect themselves. That ball hitting Tuffle going out in the right field. Oquendo used the bag then, but Samuel went right through the bag to mess up the throw to first base. Good base running by Samuel.
That's only the 6th error by Oquendo this year and his 2nd error in his last 79 ball games. He has done quite a job in the field as you look at Keith Hernandez, and he takes for ball 1. Hernandez hitting .273, 3 home runs, 16 runs batted in with 150 at-bats. 15 years coming into this year in the major leagues, a .300 lifetime hitter. And he hits it hard to Oquendo at second base. The out is made at first base, and Tuffle goes over to third.
There are 2 guys in the Mets lineup, in my opinion, who are going to give Ken Hill a problem if they face him 3 or 4 times. And one of them's Hernandez. He hit that ball sharply. The other is Darryl Strawberry. Ken Hill throws the type of pitches that Strawberry loves to hit against, low fastballs.
And he also, as you remember, has made 9 wild pitches, so you're alive when you're on third. And here's the first pitch to Strawberry. He takes for ball 1. Here in the first inning, both sides with identical innings. Mets with a runner at third and 2 out. The Cardinals had a runner at third and 2 out with a cleanup hitter batting. And there's ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. On deck batter, Kevin McReynolds. 2-0 the count. And the fastball low for ball 3. Couple at third, 2 men away as we get underway. Ball 4, so Strawberry walks in 4 pitches. The second man who has walked on 4 pitches in this inning. And that'll bring up Kevin McReynolds, who has been hot, especially hot against the St. Louis Cardinals.
None of those pitches even close to Strawberry. I doubt that that was a pitch around, because with a young pitcher like Ken Hill, if you're catching a guy like that, you just try to make him throw strikes. Tell him to get away from throwing at the mid and just throw to your body and center your body right behind home plate.
Hill signed as a non-drafted free agent and traded to the St. Louis Cardinals. And he tries the curveball and misses. McReynolds had home runs in each of the first 2 games of this series. He's hitting .284 for the year with 14 home runs, 61 runs batted in. And he's batting .400 in this series against St. Louis. And he fouls off a fastball. McReynolds had his best major league game ever against St. Louis in St. Louis in a previous series when he hit for the cycle and drove in 6 runs. He was the key man in that victory, and then came back the next day and drove in the winning runs against the Cardinals in the next game. He's been hot in August. And he hits a fly ball to center field. Thompson is there, and he makes the catch, and the Mets leave 2. No hits, 2 walks, 1 error, and 2 men left on. The score at the end of 1 inning here at Shea Stadium. The Cardinals nothing, the Mets nothing. And here's a word from Burger King. And Terry to lead it off for the Cardinals here in the top of the 2nd. And the outfield very wet, as Tim pointed out. But the infield is fine. And the first pitch by Ojeda, the slop drop for ball 1. Pendleton hitting .249. He has 8 home runs, 50 runs batted in. He's 4 for 17 in the first 4 games of this 5-game series, and the fastball for ball 2. You're watching Mets baseball 89 on WWOR-TV, Secaucus, New Jersey. The 2-0 pitch, and it is grounded foul. 2 balls and 1 strike. Pendleton with a lifetime average of .263 and hitting .318 here at Shea Stadium this year. And it's hit off the end of the bat down the first base line. A fair ball. It'll be extra bases. Pendleton on his way to second. And the ball is touched out there, so it'll be a grounds rule double. Touched by a fan. So the second base hit for the Cardinals and the second double.
Now Terry Pendleton shaking his head at second base, but I guarantee you he'll take this. No pictures, just numbers. A cue shot. Bang, right on the line. Right on the inside of the line, and a fan touches it. It's a ground rule double.
So the leadoff batter on second, and Jose Oquendo the batter. Oquendo hitting .298. He has no home runs, 36 RBIs. He is 8th in the National League in hitting, and he takes the first pitch, a called strike.
No such thing as an ugly hit.
Never been one. Take all you can get. Oquendo's had 6 hits in this series and 12 at-bats.
What's Oquendo moving in the box for? He may be moving in the box to try to entice Ojeda to throw it away so he can slap it to the right side. Watch how he gets set and then moves back. He almost opens up.
Earlier this year, he hit in 23 consecutive games, the longest streak in the majors. And there he has that stance and moving around, and he fouls it back.
And he tried to hit the ball the other way. I think what Oquendo was doing is try to entice Ojeda to throw the ball away so he could slap it to the right side and move Pendleton to third.
Don't see many hitters moving around in the batter's box.
No, you really don't.
Kendall trying to go to right field. He gets a curveball, pops it into shallow right field. Strawberry moving up makes the play. So Kendall trying to put it on the ground, and he hits it in the air, and he's out.
Fielder, number 25.
Even with 2 strikes, Okendo moving around, enticing Ojeda to throw the ball away. He got the curveball in, and Strawberry, because he was playing Okendo shallow, makes the play.
So Pendleton still at second with 1 out, and there you see that action.
Clearly trying to go the other way.
And the batter for St. Louis will be Milt Thompson. And the first pitch is called strike. Thompson hitting .282 with 3 home runs, 45 runs batted in. He has had a reputation of not handling left-hand pitching, but this year he's hitting .278 against left-handers with 40 hits. And he takes that one for a ball.
I think when a hitter like Okendo tries to go the other way with a man on second and nobody out and gets the runner to third, I think it should be scored a sacrifice. Because I think guys try to go the other way, the guys that do it with a runner at second and nobody out, more than guys try to hit a sacrifice fly.
That's true.
You know, so if you're trying to do that, you're giving yourself up as a hitter, then why shouldn't that be scored a sacrifice?
And a ground ball to the first base side. Hernandez fields it, throws to Ojeda, and Ojeda just does win the race to first. Pendleton crossing over to third base.
The catcher, number 19.
Thompson, because he hustled going down the first baseline, makes it a very close play. I mean, very close.
So for the second inning, a runner at third.
Watch out. Ooh, boy, that's bang, bang, wasn't it?
Photo finish over there, but Ojeda got the call, and rightfully so. And that brings up Tom Pagnozzi. Pagnozzi hitting .153 with 3 runs batted in, but his 3 runs batted in has 1 ball games for the Cardinals this year. 2 of them in extra innings, and 1 against the Mets. Ojeda from the set position, and the pitch is outside for ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike.
He wound up the first pitch, and Pendleton edging off a third. Bobby decided to prevent worrying about him. He'd just go into the stretch position.
And he comes back with a fastball and misses. 2-1. Bob Ojeda, pretty consistent at home and at Shea. He's won his last 3 decisions in his last 5 game starts. And it's chopped out to second. Temple stays back on it, and he'll have to hurry, but he gets the play. So for the second inning, a runner left at third by the St. Louis Cardinals, and the score at the end of 1.5 innings, the Cardinals nothing, the Mets nothing. Now here's a word from the good olds guys. Johnson not playing today. He has a stiffness in his shoulder. He got that sliding in the third against Tim Wallach, and it's not the same as the injury that he had that necessitated an arm operation, shoulder operation this winter.
That's that head-first slide. There were 3 Mets over the last 10-day period who almost had serious injuries sliding head-first. Mark Carrion, Kevin Elster, and now Howard Johnson. I think they ought to teach feet-first slides in the Mets farm system.
I was talking to him about that before the ball game, and he said, I think you got a point there. I said, it's more important for you to stay in the lineup than it is to slide head first in a close situation.
That's right. And really, you don't get there that much quicker. Maybe a little quicker, maybe. But unless you're good at it like Pete Rose was, you ought to forget about it. Slide feet first.
And Magadan, the batter. A count of 1 ball and 1 strike. Magadan hitting .283 for the year. He has 4 home runs, 32 runs batted in, and he takes outside for ball 2.
You know, baseball's a manual game. You got to have good hands in your arms. Naturally, you can't play if your feet are hurting or if something's wrong with them, but your feet are a lot tougher than your hands. Your hands are very delicate. That's why you shouldn't slide head first.
And there is Howard Johnson.
That was after that slide. You remember we had it here on WWOR. And Hojo, you know, he had the operation last year. So I think Hojo will be sliding feet first from now on.
And a wise idea. So Magadan becomes the second leadoff batter to walk against Ken Hill. And that brings up Barry Lyons.
The catcher, number 33, Barry Lyons.
Lyons with a 3-for-4 night against the Cardinals in this series. 3-for-7 so far for the total series. And Lyons hitting .261 for the year with 3 home runs, 20 runs batted in. Last year, Barry Lyons hit .231 in 50 games with no home runs. Scoreless ball game. Bottom of the second inning, and this ball, a fastball, fouled back into the stands. And in spite of the heavy rains this morning, we've got just about all the people here that bought tickets. Mets had a 50,000 advance sale coming into this game. And a good amount of those people showed up, even though the game start was delayed over an hour. And that pitch a ball, so it's 1-1. Mets have won 5 of their last 6, 8 of their last 10, and 10 of their last 13. They trail the Cubs by 4.5 games. Montreal second, 2.5 games back. And Pittsburgh leading Montreal 2-0 after 5.5 innings. Philadelphia leading Chicago 2-0 in the bottom half of the third. Ground ball to the shortstop Smith, who goes for the force play. The throw to first base not in time. And even though the ball was hit very slowly, they almost got the double play.
Oquendo again using the bag. You see a lot of second basemen come across the bag, but watch how once again Oquendo uses the bag for protection and almost gets Lyons at first.
So Lyons exchanges with Magadan at first base, and that'll bring up Kevin Elster.
If the ball's hit sharply, second baseman will come toward the third base side of the infield. But if the ball's hit slowly, that gives the runner at first a chance to get down on the second baseman. So therefore they use that bag, and Oquendo's done it twice today.
And the first pitch to Elster moves him back, and it's ball 1. Elster hitting .235 with 6 home runs, 38 RBIs. Last year he had only 37 RBIs all season long. He did hit 9 home runs last year. He's 2 for 12 in this series. And a ball call for ball 2. Ken Hill on May the 4th pitched his first complete game, and it was also his first major league shutout against the Dodgers, a 3-hitter. He struck out 9 in that game. That's a career high. And the fastball foul back out of play. Batting .274 against left-handers, .212 against right-handers. He's hitting .300 against the Cardinals this year, and he has hit 1 home run against them. Again hit foul. So they count 2-2 on Kevin Elster. On deck batter Bob Ojeda. These pitchers have really been doing their job with the bats. Last night David Cohen 3 for 3 with a run batted in, as the Mets won at 3-1. 2-2 the count. And another one fouled off. That win. He's won 7 games here at Shea Stadium and has lost none. And he has won his last 7 decisions.
Things are really coming together for the Mets. The hitters are starting to hit, all of them, and the pitchers are starting to pitch. A 1.70 ERA for the pitchers the last 13 games.
Chopped out toward the shortstop Smith, who takes it on the rise. They get the force play at second. And Elster exchanges with Lyons at first.
Oquendo's probably saying to Aase, I wish they'd hit it harder so you can get the ball to me a little quicker. All of the plays at second base, and there have been 3 of them through an inning and 2/3, have been on balls that were hit slowly to the left side.
So that brings up Bob Ojeda. Bob was 6 hits and 47 at bats, batting 128. And he takes the fastball. Mets have won more games at home than any other team in the National League. They have won 39. They're 39-19 at home. 23-30 on the road. Again, the fastball for ball 2.
See Pagnozzi setting up right in the middle of the plate. See those 4 corners? The 2 corners of the shoulder and the 2 shin guards, the 2 knees. When a pitcher's wild, you try to have him throw for the 4 corners. Forget the mitt.
And it's ball 3. Hill has walked 3 in his first 1 2/3 innings.
There's a big difference. You'll see Barry Lyons moving from side to side. Ojeda has to be fine because he doesn't throw as hard as Hill. But Pagnozzi right in the middle of the plate.
The 3-0 pitch, a called strike as he gets a fastball there. Called good movement. When you have a pitcher with good movement, he just throws it for the middle and lets it move.
Exactly.
The 3-1 pitch, and Ojeda swings away and fouls it off, so it goes to 3-2. No score in the game, and that's with a runner at first base, 2 men out. And the first baseman Guerrero moving off the bag on the full count. Elster will be running with the pitch. Goes Elster, and the ball fouled off. Sun shining brightly now at Shea Stadium. Juan Samuel, the on deck batter. And again, Elster goes, and the pitch is ball 4, and that puts runners at first and second for Juan Samuel. 4th walk issued by Ken Hill.
Center fielder Juan Samuel.
Samuel never saw a strike when he led off the ball game. Started the season at Louisville, was 0-2 there. He was brought up by St. Louis on April 19th. Samuel 4 for 16 in this series. Runners at first and second, 2 men out, bottom half of the second inning. And a big swing and no contact. Cardinals play Samuel straight away.
And deep. You got to play Samuel deep the other way. He can drive the ball over the opposite fielder's head.
And the breaking ball outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. .215 career average against St. Louis with 7 home runs. This year he's hitting .273 against them. He has no home runs against the Cardinals this season. And he fouls off the fastball. 1-2. Albert Johnson doing some stretching exercise. One and two. That's way outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ken Hill has not allowed many home runs. He's only given up 4 home runs. Low ball pitcher. And he gets him with a curveball. That ends the inning as the Mets threaten on 2 walks and don't score. And the score at the end of 2. The Cardinals nothing, the Mets nothing. And here's a word from Budweiser. Ken Hill, the batter, as Bob Ojeda starts off in the top of the 3rd, and he misses with a fastball for ball 1. Hill hitting .196. He's had 9 hits, one of them an extra base hit, a double, in 46 at bats. And he goes after the fastball, fouls it away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Two and 1. And it's 3 and 1. Ojeda with 2 shutouts this year, both of them against Philadelphia. He shut out Philadelphia's last time out. He's 0-2 against the Cardinals this year. And he walks Hill. So for the 3rd inning, the Cardinals have base runners.
Well, Hill walked Bobby Ojeda, and you can see the disgust on Bobby's face. And I think that is the biggest difference in not only Bobby Ojeda, because his ratio, as you see there, of walks is about 1-to-1, walks to strikeouts. That is the 404th walk of the Mets pitching staff this year, and that already matches last year. And that's one of the reasons the pitching staff had a tough time early going.
And again, Vince Coleman tries to bunt and bunts it foul. He has tried to bunt his way on throughout this series and has not been successful. He has 10 bunt base hits on the year. And a good position for him to bunt with a pitcher on. Yeah, Tim, the Mets lead the league in strikeouts. They lead the league in fewest hits allowed, and they lead the league in holding the opposition to the lowest batting average, but they are 4th in earned run average.
And the walks is one of the big reasons.
Coleman bunts it. This is a good one. They'll have to hurry. They're going to let it roll foul, and wisely so, as Magadan makes the right decision against Coleman.
It's a hard play for a 3rd baseman because Coleman has pop from the right side. He can drill the ball by a 3rd baseman. So Dave prudently allowing the ball to roll foul.
So Hill back to 1st, and Coleman slowly back to the plate. Defying the laws of gravity. 2 strikeout on Coleman. Magadan has dropped back to a pretty deep position at 3rd, maybe too deep. Coleman with 31 infield hits. Really don't have to figure you can get a double play ball out of Coleman. He hits it in the air, though, and that will be catchable. Samuel makes the play, and Coleman is out.
Ozzie Smith.
Well, as you see, the sun is out. And about 2 hours ago, didn't look like the sun was going to be out for another week or so.
Yeah, you couldn't make a sale on sunglasses out here then.
No.
That brings up Ozzie Smith. Ozzie doubled his first time up off the glove of Kevin McReynolds deep to left. And he takes for ball one. Ozzie with 23 two-base hits in the year. He has 5 triples and 1 home run. Hill not being held on at first by Keith Hernandez. Fastball for ball 2, 2-0. Ozzie Smith, in his 12th year in the major leagues, he has won 9 gold gloves at shortstop. And it's ball 3. 3-0, and Guerrero on deck. Ojeda has pitched in trouble throughout this game. Look at those chapeaus. It's a strike, 3-1.
Jeff Mitchell doesn't miss anything, right? Right on cue of your gold gloves. He shows us gold hats. Rococo style.
And it's popped up in foul territory out of play.
Really put him to the test and tell him to find some golden slippers. Remember that song, Ralphie?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, those golden slippers.
3-2, the pitcher on first.
It's not even close.
Need a little paint. See whether or not the runner will be going here. He is going, and the ball grounded to third. Magadan, a good play. He has no play at second. Picks up the out. Now going to third is Hill. The throw to Magadan, and the tag is made. So the Mets get the double play as Ken Hill makes a serious mistake, making the third out at third base. That ends the inning. No runs, no hits, a walk, no one left on base as a result of the double play. And the score at the end of 2.5 innings, the Cardinals nothing, the Mets nothing. And here's a word from Amtrak. He thinks he has a play at second, doesn't. And now with third base unoccupied, Hernandez makes a good throw to Magadan.
He was safe. He had his hand in there, and that's what third base coach Rich Hacker, he was safe. But here's a pitcher. I mean, think about that. It's 2 outs anyway. Rich Hacker was arguing, and he had a good argument, and so did Whitey Herzog. Gary Darling with the call, but that's Barry Lyons. Barry Lyons really should be the one to cover at third base. Whenever a bunt or a ball is hit to the third baseman, the catcher naturally goes down to third, and he was the one who should have been there, but Barry wasn't there. Mets got the call anyway.
And here is Tim Tuffle, the leadoff for the Mets. And Tim, you were talking about Tuffle playing against a right-hand pitcher, and his stats in the past showed he hits right-hand pitching.
Well, as a matter of fact, the year before he came to the Mets, he hit .290 for the Twins of Minnesota, hit .290 against right-handers and .200 against left-handers. But Artie Friedman showed you before that he's batting only .219 against right-handers this year in 65 at-bats.
And he takes a fastball for ball 1.
Much higher against left-handed pitching. He's had 98 at-bats against them.
Tuffle with a good lifetime average, 265. And there's ball 2. He's hit 50 home runs in his 7 years in the major leagues. Batting .295 in his last 44 at-bats over his last 20 games, and a strike call for 2-1. Scoreless ball game, bottom half of the third inning, and Tuffle hits a little blooper into shallow left field. It might drop in, and it will. So the Mets get their first hit.
Well, you can't be everywhere, and Tim Tuffle finds a seam in left field. Little clunker, and has the Texas League base hit.
So Tuffle at first with no one out, and Keith Hernandez the batter. Keith grounded out to the second baseman his first time up, a hard ground ball.
It's hard to do, isn't it? Get a Texas League hit in the National League.
That is correct. Only one other place.
They'll get a National League. They don't call them National Leaguers in the Texas League, do they?
And the fastball for ball one. Mets have left 2 on in each of the first 2 innings.
Frank Cashin came in, the general manager of the Mets, between innings, and was telling us that Darryl Strawberry has baggies taped on under his shoes, and that's to keep his feet from getting wet. Pretty good idea.
Yeah, he shouldn't bag that.
So Darryl with the novel approach of keeping his feet dry, or to keeping his feet dry. He has baggies taped on under his shoes. That's a neat idea.
So it's 2-0 to Keith Hernandez. Ken Hill struggling with his control. There goes the runner, and the pitch is grounded to the second baseman, Oquendo, and he has no play at second as that ball came up at the last minute. Otherwise, you might have had the force at second and a double play. But
that's a good point, because when the ball came up, that little split second allowed Tuffle a chance to get to second. Watch there. When it comes up, it's tougher to catch a ball that comes up like that. Had that ball stayed down, it'd be just a little shuffle toss to Smith.
So the Mets have a runner in scoring position as Darryl Strawberry comes to the plate. Baggies and all. Darryl didn't see a strike his first time up. And he still hasn't seen one. One ball, no strikes to Strawberry. Strawberry is 6th in the National League in slugging percentage with a .509 average. And he fouls off a fastball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Certainly hitting much better here at Shea. And this is really a pitcher's ballpark. But then again, the Mets play much better here at Shea this year. And it's hit into right center field, extra bases. Tuffle will come in to score. Strawberry to second. Now turning on some speed. He's going to try for third. A bad relay throw, and Strawberry is safe. Strawberry didn't turn it on until he saw that there was trouble in the outfield, and it almost cost him.
Maybe his baggies were slowing him down. This is the first triple of the year for Strawberry, and it's also, as a side note, the first triple of the year for a Mets player with baggies on. But you're right, he wasn't running hard until he saw that ball bounce around out there, and realizing the wet turf. Fast relay by Ozzie Smith, but the missed relay man, Jose Oquendo, is the reason Strawberry's at third.
And there is a breaking ball. Kevin McReynolds, a batter. The Cardinals playing their infield in here for a play at the plate. Yeah, the throw was over Oquendo's head, so Smith, the second cutoff man, had to wait for it. And that gave Strawberry time to get to third. Bernansky making the throw. And the fastball fouled away. boisterous on anything in the outfield because that outfield is soaking wet, and that ball will be wet once it hits. And very difficult to throw. Strawberry at third. And McReynolds goes for the fastball. 1-2. McReynolds flied out to center his first time up. He'd settle for that right now. 1-2 the count. And Ken Hill breaks contact with a pitching rubber. I mentioned earlier, Hill has made 9 wild pitches, so when you're on third, as Strawberry is, be ready. And a ground ball to third. What a backhand play by Pendleton. That is impossible. Ooh, what a play. He leads all third basemen in fielding percentage, and this is why.
He's only committed 10 errors, and boy, these soft hands. Watch this terrific play by Terry Pendleton. In between hop, backhanded. Strawberry on a good base running play, subtle but good. Had to get back in a hurry. Oh, that's a fine play by Pendleton. Gold Glove winner 2 years ago.
So Pendleton gets a big out, and that brings up Dave Magadan. And Magadan takes for ball 1. Magadan walked his first time up. Mets leading 1-0. A runner at third, 2 men away. Bottom half of the third. Cardinals lead the National League in fielding, and with Pendleton, Smith, and Oquendo, you've got some talent out there. For ball 2. Pittsburgh 5, Montreal nothing. That game in the 7th. Philadelphia 2. The Cubs won that game in the 5th. And a line drive base hit. So Magadan with a 2-out base hit, and the Mets lead it 2-0.
Not only does that plate Strawberry for the second run of the game, but think of what it does to Kevin McReynolds. Well, one of the few times in the last 3 weeks, McReynolds didn't pick Strawberry up at third with less than 2 outs. But you forget about it because Magadan gets a big 2-out base hit.
Mets leading 2-0 with Barry Lyons the batter. And he swings and misses. Lyons grounded into a force play his first time up. An RBI by Magadan, his 33rd of the year. And another called strike. It's strike 2. Struck him out. That ends the inning. The second strikeout for Ken Hill, but the Mets get their first hits. They score 2 runs on 3 hits. They leave 1 to score at the end of 3. The Mets 2 and the Cardinals is authorized under television rights granted by the New York Mets solely for the entertainment of our audience. Publication, reproduction, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the written consent of the New York Mets, Sterling Doubleday Enterprises, and WWOR-TV is prohibited. Any commercial or other use of the program, such as by charging admission for its showing, is similarly prohibited. And now a man who started his illustrious career with the St. Louis Cardinals, Tim McCarver.
30 years ago. Foul tip to Guerrero. 0-1 to Pedro, who flied to center in the first inning.
Only catcher to play in 4 different decades of baseball.
Here, Rick Dempsey's got a chance to do it next year. Jerry Royce, the pitcher, has a chance to do that. He started in '69 with the Cardinals. Nolan Ryan. The way Nolan Ryan's going, anything is possible. There you see the big difference right there, huh?
Almost twice as many pitches by Hill.
0-2 to Guerrero. Nolan Ryan with 4,986 strikeouts. Marty Noble of Newsday pointed out today that when he gets 5,000, he'll have 22% more than Carlton. Carlton's in the number 2 hole with over 4,000.
It's unbelievable. This year he has taken no hitters into the 9th inning 3 times.
1-2 to Guerrero. Change up, fouled away. Well, the guys got to be tired after the last few days here at Shea. They have really earned their pay getting this field ready to play. The last 3 days has just been remarkable. Reminds me of the 1986 season. After the celebration, they had it ready 15 hours later. Jam with a fastball, an easy play for Ojeda, and he gets Guerrero 1 away.
Well, checking out the Nissan National League scoreboard. Pittsburgh 5, Montreal nothing, bottom half of the 7th, Philadelphia 2, Chicago 1, top of the 5th. Cincinnati 3, Houston nothing, bottom of the 4th. The Dodgers playing San Francisco later. And Atlanta and San Diego not scheduled because of a football game in San Diego.
Tom Bernansky now grounded to short. His first time up. 2-0 Mets here in the top of the 4th inning. Tim McCarver, Ralph Kiner along with you. Steve Zabriskie on another assignment this afternoon and will rejoin us Wednesday night for our telecast. Change, swing and a miss. To refresh your memory, the Mets clinched the pennant against the Cubs in '86, a night game, and they had a day game scheduled the next day. And if you remember, a rather sordid affair after the game, the crowd pouring onto the field, chewing up part of the infield and outfield. And remarkably, the ground crew putting this, it's almost like sewing a quilt back together the next day, and they had the field playable. And it is playable today. 0-2 to Bernansky. Outside, ball 1. Outside, ball 2, 2-2. That's in the bottom of the 6th inning. Bruce Ruffin against Rick Sutcliffe at Wrigley Field in Chicago. Boy, those Cubs have just been red hot. Change up, loop to left. McReynolds will see it fall in front of him. So a base hit for Bernansky. The 3rd hit for the Cardinals. 2 doubles and a single in the batter, Terry Pendleton.
And the Nissan American League scoreboard, Baltimore 6, Boston 1, top of the 7th. Milwaukee 4, Cleveland 3, top of the 9th. Kansas City 3, Toronto 2, bottom half of the 4th. Yankees 3, Minnesota 2, bottom of the 5th. Oakland in California, Chicago and Seattle, and Detroit and Texas later.
Can the Orioles hold on in the American League East? It's been a remarkable story, and if they win it, they will become, as Pendleton takes ball 1 low, they will become the first team since 1890 to finish last and then finish first the next year.
In '69, the Mets finished 9th and then finished first. That was when they had 10 teams in one division.
The Louisville Colonels finished That was when the American Association was considered a major league. The Louisville Colonels finished last in 1889 and first in 1890. So it has been 99 years since a team's finished last and then first the next year. Lined up the middle, base hit. Brunansky stops at second base. So the Cardinals with runners at first and second, one out, and Jose Oquendo coming up.
Well, Pendleton, just staying with that pitch low and outside, does a great piece of hitting as he picks up his second hit of this ball game. He had doubled his first time up, and his sixth hit in 19 times up in the series.
Interesting thing about that little story, Ralph, is Louisville is now the AAA affiliate of the St. Louis Cardinals. Oquendo flied to right back in the second inning. Ball and no strikes to Jose Oquendo. 2-0 Mets, but the Cardinals threatening here in the fourth. One to Oquendo, a much better hitter from the left side, batting 54 points higher as a left-handed hitter.
All the other switch hitters for the Cardinals have averages pretty close to even on both sides of the plate but Jose.
Curve outside, 2 balls and 1 strike.
Oquendo has 9 home runs. They've all been hit right-handed.
It's a good time for the hit and run right here. We've seen the hit and run with first and second so many times this year. 2 balls, 1 strike. We'll see if Whitey Herzog puts him in motion. Contact hitter up there. It's a strike, 2-2 to Oquendo. Gene Gieselman, the executive trainer of the Cardinals. The Geese. Been there since 1968. Outside, ball 3. So with the count 3-2, you can bet the Cardinals will be running. There go the runners. This one hit deep to left, but foul. Still 3-2.
Oquendo is a contact hitter, and on the mound, Bob Ojeda, not a strikeout pitcher, so the percentage is to put the runners in motion.
Oquendo has struck out 42 times this year. The runners are going. Brunansky slipped, and the bat slipped out of Oquendo's hand. Jose, always a smile on his face.
Right here, watch Brunansky. He slips right there and goes down, but gets right back up. Oquendo has to let go of the bat to foul the ball off. So no harm done.
Still 3-2. Look for the runners to run again. They're off, and this one fouled away. Still 3-2.
Good catch.
Fun to watch the crowd catch the balls, the foul balls now, and then they give each other high fives like the players do. Turned out to be a delightful day here at Shea. The game was delayed 1 hour and 6 minutes because of rain. Runners are off. Swing and a miss. The throw to third. Got him. The second double play for the Mets. The Cardinals failed to score, and after 3.5, it's 2-0 Mets. And we're back after this from the New York Daily News.
today's game. The Mets Life Met of the Month award for July was presented to Mackie Sasser. Mackie was presented with his award by Harvey Young, Senior Vice President for MetLife. In addition, MetLife will donate $1,000 to the American Cancer Society in Mackie's name. In the month of July, Mackie hit .269 with 6 doubles and 9 runs batted in. So congratulations, Mackie. The MetLife Met of the Month for July.
All right. Thunder Boomers rolling in. We blamed everything else on El Nino. We might as well blame the weather for the past week on El Nino. El Nino, the reverse of the river current from Peru to Australia that's causing all the inclement weather in our hemisphere over the last 5 years. Curveball to Kevin Elster from Ken Hill. We're saying that kind of tongue-in-cheek. Remember a couple of years ago when we were out in California and that strange phenomenon was occurring out there?
Changed the temperature of the waters around the Alaskan area, and that does affect the climatic conditions.
They were finding anchovies up in cold water climates and hard-shell crabs down in Peru, the warmer climate.
If you don't like that theory, try the greenhouse effect. Blame it on that.
Yeah. Ground ball towards short. Ozzie Smith, nice play. One away, and Bobby Ojeda coming up.
The pitcher, Bob Ojeda.
Some people think that anchovies are bad enough to where they ought to be able to swim anywhere they want.
Anywhere.
I happen to be an anchovy fan, however. You like anchovies?
I certainly do, especially in Caesar salads.
Ojeda walked back in the second inning. 2-0 Mets here in the bottom of the fourth. One and one. Ground ball to Smith again, an easy play. 2 outs. And Juan Samuel coming up. I guess while we're on the subject of food, I can tell you about a letter I got today from Vicki Richmond, who says that she's an ardent admirer of Pam Postuma, but her long-standing dilemma is whether or not to invite her to Thanksgiving dinner, because she understands that no umpire can permit the fare to be foul. I didn't write this. Now.
You're not going to take credit for that one.
No, I'm not. Vicki Richmond from Brooklyn. Fair to be foul. Anyway, it's 1-0 to Juan Samuel. Juan 0 for 1, 2 balls and no strikes. Two and one. Don't write me, folks. Write Vicki Richmond in Brooklyn. Two 2-0 Mets. 3 hits for New York, 4 for the Cardinals. On the outside corner, 2-2. Kenny Hill, 23 years old, and the youngest player on the Cardinals roster. Only been pitching 4 years, as you see. On deck. Ground ball toward third. Pendleton has to hurry, and he does, to get Samuel. The first time the Mets have been retired in order. After 4, it's 2-0 New York, and we're back after this from Bud Light. Top of the 5th inning, a game delayed an hour and 6 minutes because of rain. The Mets with 2 in the bottom of the 3rd inning. The big hit, a triple by Darryl Strawberry, driving in Tim Teufel. And then Strawberry scored on a clutch 2-out base hit by Dave Magadan. And Milt Thompson fouls one back, 0-1 to Milt Thompson. Good thing we had a good weather report from Lloyd Lindsey Young and your pal George Carlin, the hippy-dippy weatherman.
Hiya, Tim.
Well, that voice sounds familiar.
on cue. Ground ball, good play. Hernandez, he'll have to hurry out at first. An almost identical play that Hernandez got Thompson on a flip to Ojeda back in the 2nd inning. 1 away.
This could be a videotape replay of his first at bat as the race is on. Thompson gets down that line in a hurry, and Ojeda just does beat him. Good lead by Keith Hernandez on a perfect throw.
Tom Pagnozzi, the batter, he grounded to second his first at bat. 2-0 Mets. And this one popped up. Way up there. High enough to draw rain as Lloyd Lindsey Young steps into the booth. How you doing, pal?
Hi, Tim. Good to be here this afternoon. I'm glad we got the game in. I was a little concerned there, but I promised Ralph that we'd only keep the showers in for 45 minutes or so.
Well, you know, when you think about it, it makes sense that you're a baseball fan because Ralph and I are both fans of the weather.
Well, weathermen need a lot of fans in August. We get hot.
Fan Appreciation Day, right?
Yeah, Fan Appreciation Day. It's really fun to be out here, and it's great to see the Mets going well. It really is.
They are playing great baseball, especially the last 3 weeks where everything has seemed to come together as Ken Hill takes a fastball outside. 1-0 to Ken Hill.
Lloyd, you've really done a good job with the weather here in August. It's been cool.
Well, the whole summer hasn't been bad, Ralph. Really, we've only had a couple of major heat waves so far.
Line drive to right, Strawberry in, and he makes the play. The Cards go in order for the first time. And after 4.5, it's 2-0 New York, and we're back along with Lloyd Lindsey Young after this from Metropolitan Light. Well, it's turned out to be a beautiful day here at Shea Stadium. This game delayed by rain. It is now an official game with the Mets on top 2-0. And I'll throw it to Ralph Kiner, and in between us, Steve Zabrisky's fill-in today, Ralphie.
Hey, he's a good guy to be filling in for, I'll tell you. Look at those cumulus clouds, Ralph, but everything's okay. She breaks to the west.
Not nebulous, though.
No CBs.
We really gave you a good lead in a while ago. We were talking about El Nino. You're an authority on El Nino.
El Nino is an old Spanish friend of mine that used to sneak up the West Coast and really messing things up weather-wise. It's been really a bizarre summer in the East. It really has. Very cool and very wet.
Why do they call it El Nino? El Nino means little child, doesn't it?
I really don't have any idea, Ralph. He looks like a mean dude to me.
That's what I like about a weatherman. You just come on and say, I don't know what's going to happen.
Hey, you know, we got to call him as we see him like you do. Here we go.
Okay, it's the bottom half of the 5th inning. The Mets leading 2-0. Only 3 hits for the Mets, 4 for the Cardinals. And the leadoff batter, Tim Teufel, who got the first hit for the Mets when he booked a single in the left field. Later on scored the first run. Driven in by Strawberry on a triple, and he grounds this one foul.
Well, if you're a Mets fan, it's bad news from the Windy City in Chicago. The Cubs have tied the Phillies 3-3.
I think the Phillies need a little wind blowing in that game.
Where the Cubs have been hitting, the whole league needs it. Bruce Ruffin and Rick Sutcliffe still in that game, by the way. There's the score in the 6th.
Go Phillies. What can I say?
Phillies led 2-0, and the Cubs led 3-2, and the Phillies now back in a tie at 3-3 as the breaking ball is outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
He's energetic.
Whitey Herzog. Pittsburgh 5, Montreal 2. That game in the top of the 9th inning.
No weather problems anymore in Montreal with that new stadium up there.
So don't look for a job up there, huh?
Oh, listen. I don't speak French. I have a hard enough time with Fahrenheit. I don't need Celsius.
And Tuffle grounds it foul, so the count stays at 3-2.
They don't have a weather problem with the dome in Montreal, but they have all sorts of other problems with that dome.
I heard that stadium's a nightmare, Tim. I've never been up there, but I understand it's...
As far as its retractability, it's a nightmare.
Oh, I'll bet.
Yeah, but it is a weather problem, whether they can get the top on or not.
The new Sky Dome in Toronto is working very well and was half the price of the dome in Montreal.
And Tuffle hits it to deep center field, going back as Thompson on the wet grass. The ball carrying a long way, and he makes the play. So Tuffle hard out.
The ball really carries well here in the daytime, right, Timmy?
It does. The more humid the weather, the better the ball carries, and Thompson didn't realize that that ball was going to carry like it did. Really telling Tom Bernansky after the catch that he was really having a tough time with the sun.
So 1 away, and Keith Hernandez will be the batter. Keith 0 for 2. And that's strike 1. One of his ground outs coming on a hit and run play that set it up for the Mets to get a runner at second. And he fouls off the fastball. Keith Hernandez with a 300 lifetime batting average, and I don't have a breakdown, Tim, but I'd say that it's got to be pretty consistent either side of the plate for him.
Left-handers have never really bothered him. That's why he is one of the few left-handed hitters, pure left-handed hitters, that has spent his career batting against left-handed pitchers. There aren't too many around.
Good to see him back in there. It really is.
And he fights off the fastball. A good pitch there, and keeps the count at strike 2 on the foul ball. Well, that's the thing that the Mets have going for them. Both Keith Hernandez and Gary Carter are back. Not really at full strength, but Keith and Gary certainly inspirational on the ball club.
I don't know, Ralph. They seem to be a different team with Keith in there to some extent.
He is a very good leader. Intense player. And did he hold up? No, he didn't. He went too far, so he is struck out on the curveball. And Ken Hill has settled in.
Right fielder, Darryl Strawberry.
Best place to pitch Hernandez with 2 strikes is inside. He fouled back 2 fastballs in there, and now can't hold up on the slider.
So 2 men away, and Darryl Strawberry the batter. Darryl has walked and tripled and has scored a run and driven in 1. Whitey Herzog, who at one time was a New York Yankee farmhand. And that pitch called strike by Randy Marsh, the home plate umpire. The Baggies. Darryl trying to keep his feet dry.
That dugout, the Mets dugout, was all flooded out. I was down there before the game, and it rained so heavily that the water was about 4 inches deep on the runway. I went down there to say hello to George Carlin and ended up with wet feet.
George is a weatherman, to say there's a little ground ball to third. Pendleton with a hard throw, and that will end the inning. So a 1-2-3 inning, and Lloyd Lindsay, nice to have you with us.
Ralph and Tim, it's been a pleasure as always. I watch all the Met games. I'm a big fan. I'll do my best to keep the weather nice. Yeah.
All right, that's a good promise. And now here's a word from the good old WWOR 2-0. Coleman in this game 0 for 2. He has been on base 5 times in this series, a 5-game series. And he has had 2 stolen bases. And he chops it over third. This will be a base hit. And Coleman is on for the 6th time in the series. So the Mets leading 2-0, and the one thing you're not looking for if you're a Mets fan is having Coleman on base. 52 stolen bases in 54 attempts, and the Mets have never thrown him out. He's 50 for 50 against the Mets in his major league career of 5 years.
And 50 is magic number this year because he set a major league record, actually set 2 of them. 50 over a 2-year period and 44 straight this year before he was thrown out twice in 2 days by the Montreal catchers.
And Ozzie Smith, the batter, and he takes for ball 1. Nelson Santovenia, the first man to throw him out.
And then Mike Fitzgerald did it the next day. And those are the only 2 times this year that he has been caught. You don't worry about him here, though. The Mets with a 2-run lead. You don't worry about him like you would normally.
And this ball is popped up. So Ozzie Smith, who had doubled his first time up, pops up to the shortstop, Kevin Elster, for the first out here in the 6th. That'll bring up the dangerous Pedro Guerrero, who is 0 for 2. He's 5 for 18 in the series with 1 home run.
First baseman, Pedro
Guerrero, a lifetime .307 batter. He has hit .307 against right-hand pitching and .307 against left-hand pitching coming into this year in his major league career. This is his 11th year in the major leagues. Coleman at first base. Had a tryout as a kicker in the National Professional Football League.
He's in the right business.
He certainly is, and he uses his feet very well in this game. Short lead at first. Ojeda checks him. And he is running. The pitch is taken. The throw by Lyons is not in time. He's now 51 for 51 against the Mets.
Tell you, had that throw been down, they may have had him. He did not have a good jump from first base. This pitch low to Guerrero. It's a high throw by Lyons. Had it been down, they had a shot at him.
Lyons made a great throw earlier in the ball game to get a runner at third base. So Barry making the attempt, but to no avail. And Coleman in scoring position. Tuffle over there. They throw to second. And he just does get back.
Another high throw. Had it been down, it would have been close.
No strikes to Guerrero, and there's a base hit to center field. Coleman will score, and the St. Louis Cardinals are on the board as a result of Coleman's stolen base. And Guerrero, who's hitting over 400 with runners in scoring position, does it again.
RBI number 78 on the year for Guerrero.
Right fielder, Tom
That's the
Brunetsky.
thing Coleman does. As much as the stolen base, he diverts the attention of the pitcher to give him something else to think about. Guerrero delivers once again. Coleman leads the Cardinals in runs scored. That's his 71st run scored of the year.
So Guerrero at first base, and the batter is Tom Brunansky, and the first pitch to Tom is popped up into shallow right center. Samuel and Strawberry converging, and Strawberry cuts in front to make the catch, and again almost a collision in the outfield. Yesterday's game entered on a mini collision between Strawberry and Tuffle on the final out of the game.
You see Samuel looking at Strawberry, the tough time picking it up, and now Samuel hollering, "I got it, I got it." Where'd it go? It's a Penn and Teller routine, right?
So 2 men away, and that'll bring up Terry Pendleton, who has had 2 hits and 2 at-bats. He grounds it out to Elster, who scoops it up, makes the tag of the bag. And that ends the inning, but the Cardinals get 1 run on 2 hits. They leave 1 in the score at the end of 5.5 innings. The Mets 2 and St. Louis 1. Now here's a word from Michelob Dry. All but about 11,000 of the tickets purchased for this ball game have showed up here. A paid crowd of 39,341. Total in the house of 40,777. And the rain delaying the ball game 1 hour and 6 minutes as the Mets bat here in the bottom of the 6th, leading by a score of 2-1 with Kevin McReynolds to lead it off. McReynolds 0 for 2. And he takes for ball 1. McReynolds out on a marvelous play by the third baseman Pendleton his last time up. One ball, 1 strike. Phillies and Cubs tied at 3 in the top of the 7th inning. Pittsburgh 6, Montreal 2 in the bottom of the 9th. Ground ball to Pendleton again, and this time an easy play, and McReynolds out for the 3rd time.
Well, the St. Louis Cardinals owned by Anheuser-Busch, and this is a reminder from your friends at Anheuser-Busch. Remember, folks, drinking responsibly makes good sense. Please know when to say when.
So 1 away, and Dave Magadan the batter. Dave drove in, but has proved to be the lead run in this ball game as he singled with 2 men out back in the 3rd, scoring Strawberry from 3rd base. Strawberry had reached in a triple. Magadan also has walks, so he's perfect for the day. 1 strike to count. Fastball for a ball, 1-1. Base hit by Magadan, the last hit the Mets got in this game. That was in the 3rd. One and 2.
Well, happy birthday wishes to Lewis Rose, who'll be 90 years old on Tuesday. 90 years old. And how about our pal Vern Hoscheit, who used to be a coach for the Mets? He will be undergoing his 2nd arthroscopic surgery in the last 2 weeks. So our get well wishes to Vern in his home in Nebraska. Vern, a traveling instructor. As a matter of fact, he is a catching instructor. And he worked with Barry Lyons for several years, trying to hone Barry's skills, and it worked very well for Barry. A tireless worker.
He's been everything in baseball: an owner, a general manager, a coach, and a player. Wonderful guy. So Bill Robinson gets in the act, and the count 1-2 on Magadan. Two and 2. The pitcher for the Cardinals, and a base hit by Magadan, his 2nd of the ball game. Ball fielded in center by Thompson. He gets it back in, and the Mets have a runner on with 1 out.
Magadan's been on base all 3 times, and a big 2-out base hit his last time up. Hill tried to come in on him, and Dave was ready for the fastball. It is still wet in that outfield, isn't it? Boy, this field has really taken a lot of rain.
Day off tomorrow, and the grounds crew will be happy about that. Barry Lyons a batter. Barry 0 for 2. And he grounds it foul.
Might be the first time I've ever heard someone talking about taking a day off for the grounds crew here in August. But you're right, boy, they have really worked hard the last 3 or 4 days. Of course, that's their job, but they do their job very well.
Lions with a 3-for-4 game in the second game of the doubleheader that opened up this 5-game series. Goes after the curveball and fouls it back, strike 2. Hill, with 5 1/3 innings in, has given up only 4 hits, but he has walked 4 while striking out 3. Fine young prospect, as Tim said, the youngest member on the Cardinal roster. And again, the foul ball.
He had retired 8 in a row before the Magadan hit, and the last guy who got a hit was Magadan.
One out of play. Well, Baltimore won their game today. Toronto trailing Kansas City in second place, a game and a half out before the Baltimore win. Cleveland lost. Milwaukee won. And Boston lost. Struck him out. Third strikeout for Ken Hill, the second time he has struck out Lyons. And that'll bring up Kevin Elster.
Shortstop, Kevin Elster.
Second time in a row that Barry has gone down on strikes. A bad ball. Nothing you can do with that high fastball, but that, again, is the advantage of a pitcher getting ahead. If the count were 2-0, he wouldn't swing at that ball. When the pitcher's ahead, you can't entice the hitters to swing at bad balls.
Elster 0 for 2. Make it 2 for 14 in this series with the Cardinals. And he takes ball 1. Mets leading 2-1. 2 men out, bottom half of the 6th inning. And those stats indicate how well Elster's been doing lately, and it's allowed Davy Johnson to solidify the left side of his infield. There's a drive to left center. It'll be a base hit. Coleman over, falls down. Going to third is Magadan, and the ball thrown away. Magadan will score. And now Elster to second base on the air, and the Mets lead it 3-1. It was a bad play on Coleman's part to start with, as he should have been throwing to second base with 2 men out. And then it was compounded by Smith.
But it also shows how aggressive base running can force the opposition into mistakes. No RBI given. This is a very, very big run. As Ralph said, Coleman's plays to second, but because he slips, he panics. Magadan properly going to third. The throw to Oquendo rushed because Elster took the wide turn. If you don't take a wide turn, then Ozzie Smith probably doesn't make this hurried throw. A throwing error by Ozzie Smith, and that is number 15 on the year.
So the Mets get a big run on the air. It is unearned at this point in the game, and Ozzie Smith makes his 15. And it brings up Bob Ojeda. He takes a fastball for ball 1.
Well, you almost never see Ozzie Smith make a careless error. And that error, once again, forced by the aggressive base running of Magadan and the wide turn by Elster. And, of course, had Coleman not slipped down, but had he not slipped, then Magadan doesn't try to go to third and make it. So the Mets really taking advantage of the elements on that last play.
1 ball, 1 strike to count to Ojeda, and he tops it out to the third base side. Pendleton has it, bobbles it, and loses the man at first for another error.
Well, to see back-to-back errors by Ozzie Smith and Terry Pendleton. Smith with 9 Gold Gloves, Pendleton with 1 2 years ago, only his 11th error of the year. Highly unusual.
Well, the Cardinal infield making errors at second, short, and third, all in one ball game, and that's almost impossible for this infield. So the error prolongs the inning, and it will bring up Juan Samuel with a chance to do some more damage. Samuel 0 for 2 with a walk. Walked his first time up. And he takes for ball 1. And they're getting Guerrero off the bag at first with Ojeda, the runner there. Should never have been holding in the first place. Strikes to Juan Samuel. And the curveball grounded foul, 1-1. Pittsburgh defeated Montreal 6-4 today. And a swing at the fastball. 1-2.
The Expos scoring 2 runs in the bottom of the 9th, but not enough. Van Slyke Bonilla with home run. Still tied at Chicago, 3-3 that game in the bottom of the 6th inning.
1-2 to Samuel. And 2-2.
That game in Chicago has gone to the 8th, and we will be keeping track. The Nissan scoreboard in both leagues coming up the latter 3 innings of this ball game.
The 2-2 pitch way outside for ball 3, a full count, and Ojeda will be running with the pitch. And the 3-2 pitch. Slice down the right field side foul, and the count will remain 3-2, and Ojeda back to first. This is the 14th game between these two clubs this year. The Mets have won 7. Again, Ojeda running, and the ball is grounded foul again.
I'll tell you, if you're Davey Johnson, because of Ojeda, he had to run hard to first on the error made by Pendleton. He has had to run a couple of times now. And if Bobby Ojeda comes out in the 7th inning, you see he's winded right there. If he's wild in the 7th, you might see a quick hook in the 7th, even though he's pitched well. Don't like to see your pitchers running the bases.
Throwing in the bullpen for the Mets. And the 3-2 pitch. Ojeda goes at strike 3 called, and Samuel struck out for the 2nd time. That could be a big strikeout. In the inning, 1 run unearned on 2 hits. There were 2 errors and 2 men left on base, and the score at the end of 6. The Mets 3 and the Cardinals 1. Now here's a word from your Lincoln Mercury dealers.
Leading it off, takes strike one. Oquendo 0 for 2 on the afternoon. Inside, ball one. 1-1 to Jose Oquendo. His last time up was interesting. Bernansky at second, Pendleton at first, and they were running on the 3-2 pitch 4 times. And he foul balls off 4 times in a row. The 5th one he swung through, and Barry Lyons threw out Bernansky for a strike him out, throw him out double play. The second of the game for the Mets, the second double play, that is. Cardinals' only run coming in the 6th inning. The Mets with 2 in the 3rd, 1 in the 6th. 3-1 New York. 2-2 to Oquendo.
Talk about timely pitches. 3-2, and the turning point of the ball game so far was that strikeout, and Bob's only strikeout in the game. Strikeout, double play, and a perfect throw by Lyons the third.
He has walked 1. He has struck out 1. He has given up 6 hits. Still 2-2 to Oquendo. All 9 career home runs off left-handed pitchers by Jose Oquendo. And through 6 innings, a breakdown, and no wonder Ojeda's ahead. Got him. Jose Oquendo, who rarely strikes out for the 2nd time in this game. The only 2 strikeouts recorded by Ojeda. 1 out.
And he gets him with this changeup. The off-speed pitch. It does look like a screwball. He says he doesn't try to throw it like a screwball, just reacts that way. He and Viola, very similar type pitchers.
Milt Thompson takes a curveball for a strike, 0-1. Viola going on Thursday afternoon against Bruce Hurst, and the pitching matchup for San Diego Tuesday night, Sid Fernandez against Ed Whitson. On Wednesday, Ron Darling against Dennis Rasmussen, and then Viola and Hurst on Thursday. This one hit to right center. Strawberry, bags and all, bags one. 2 outs.
Well, Darrell wearing those baggies in his shoes to keep his feet dry, but what do you do about the rest of his body? You can't get hurt on this play because you're going to aquaplane across the wet turf, and he makes an outstanding running catch and comes up soaking wet. Strawberry gets a hand from this crowd here as he takes an extra base hit away from Milt Thompson.
Well, it's a good thing the ground was soft. Otherwise, Darrell, who is wringing wet right now, it was Strawson. I agree with you. And an easier play now as the straw man lands on Straw in right center field. Still 3-1, middle of the 7th. We're back after this from Exxon. Nice play. Enters the game a 5-0 record. He's done a fine job. His 48th appearance. And if you're keeping score at home, or if you're not, it doesn't matter. But Tony Pena is going to be batting 9th. So he will lead off the 8th inning for the Cardinals, and DePino, you could put him in the 8 hole. So Frank, who grew up in this area, is the pitcher for the Cardinals, and Tony Pena is the new catcher. So a change in battery for the Cardinals.
Well, that's the sunglasses case there. They keep the sunglasses in right back of Whitey Herzog.
And Tim Teufel will lead it off for the Mets. The Mets with a 3-1 lead, 3-5-0 for the Mets, 1-6-3. And as Ralph pointed out, very unusual to find errors on Oquendo at second, Smith at short, Pendleton at third. 1 error leading to a run. Teufel on the afternoon is 1 for 3. Timmy on that error by Oquendo in the 1st inning. Then he singled and scored a run in the 3rd and has flied to center. Harry Wendelstedt retrieving the beach ball.
Wonder if he teaches that at his umpire school, how to retrieve beach balls. He's got a good school.
School operated in Florida, but beach ball retrieving, probably one of the lesser chores at Harry's umpiring school, wouldn't you say?
The correct way to chase a beach ball and pick it up.
And not anger the fans. Have to be a bit of a politician. 1-1 to Tuffle. Inside corner. The Pino, the overhand fastball and slider. He rarely will drop down against left-handed hitters. Rarely. He's an over-the-top pitcher. Born in Syracuse, New York, lives in Manilowis, New York. I believe that's the way you pronounce that. M-A-N-I-L-U-I-S. If it's not, I'm sure I'll hear about it. Line drive, foul down the right field line. Still 1-2 to Tim Tuffle.
Well, DePino has been tough on left-hand batters throughout his major league career, not too tough on right-handers. Signed by the Cardinals as a free agent in December of '88. He's a ground ball pitcher.
Good fastball gets Tuffle. One out here in the 7th, and Keith Hernandez coming up.
And on the Nissan National League scoreboard, Pittsburgh defeated Montreal 6-4. Philadelphia and Chicago tied up at Wrigley Field in the top of the 8th at 3. Cincinnati 5, Houston nothing. That ball game in the bottom of the 9th inning, and the Dodgers in San Francisco underway.
In that game in Chicago, pardon me, Ralph, at Atlanta and San Diego not scheduled today, but in that game in Chicago, both teams had changed pitchers. Ruffin and Sutcliffe both out of there, and the Phillies have been hitting a long time in the top of the 8th, so they may have something going. 1-0 to Hernandez.
Either that or the scoreboard keeper's out to lunch.
Really happens here at the show.
Now they do a good job on this scoreboard.
Hernandez has grounded out a couple of times and struck out. 2-0 to Keith Hernandez. Darryl Strawberry on deck. Darryl's feet may be the only thing that's dry now after that spill he took in right center on that fine catch he made.
If he had anything going for him, he'd go out to right field in a raincoat on the next trip out there.
Popped up, foul territory near the Cardinal dugout and out of play. 2-1 to Hernandez. He looked like he was trying to jump-start his body. That happens. He caught last night and then not expecting to get into today's game. Not a lot of time to get loose. And that is a position where you have to be loose. Physically and mentally, I'd say.
Especially mentally.
How could I set you up to rip me?
You did it perfectly.
I did. Perfect. A reverse rip. Inside, ball 3, 3-1. Right field. Bernansky in his tracks. And Strawberry will get a nice hand for that fine play he made in right center.
Well, here's the catch that Darryl made. It's tough running. He just does get to it, and now he loses the balance and does the aquaplane job on the wet turf. And if you just joined us, he's wearing baggies in his shoes to keep his feet dry. Now, what do you do about the rest of it?
For a body bag. He looks like one of those hydrofoils. They just started that hydrofoil service from Wall Street. Where is it? Wall Street to the marina over here, 34th Street. Vinny Sinopoli informs us. Vinny, our hydrofoil expert here in the booth. Well, the Phillies did score in the 8th inning, and they lead the Cubs 4-3. Still batting in the 8th. Ground ball to first, Guerrero to DePino for the 3rd out. So DePino impressive, but the Cardinals haven't been. They have not played well this afternoon. 3 errors, and they trail 3-1. And we'll be back after this from Budweiser.
Of the month, MetLife Award. In April, it was Lenny Dykstra. In May, Barry Lyons. In June, Howard Johnson. And in July, Mackey Sasser. Congratulations. August, well, Kevin McReynolds off to a great start in August.
13 RBIs, and here it is August 13th. 5 home runs in the month of August. And a fastball outside to Tony Pena, his first at bat in the afternoon. Tony entering the game batting .245 with 3 home runs. The double switch made in the 7th inning. The changeup fouled off, 1-1 to Pena. There was talk recently, Ralph, about Tony possibly going to the Boston Red Sox along with Terry Pendleton for Wade Boggs. That was when the Montreal Expos claimed Pena on waivers. And you might say, well, how can the Cardinals get rid of a catcher? Who do they have? Well, they have a fine young catcher at Louisville, their AAA affiliate, by the name of Todd Zeile. Z-E-I-L-E. And you will be hearing from Todd Zeile. 2 balls, 1 strike to Tony Pena. 5-3 now. Phil's on top, huh? And the Expos lost their game today, so the Mets could be 3.5 behind the Cubs and 1 game behind the Expos when this day's over. Sure he cares about it, right? Ball 4. So the Mets trying to clamp down on this one. They lead 3-1, but Pena, the leadoff runner here in the 8th.
And on the Nissan American League scoreboard, Baltimore beat Boston 6-1. Milwaukee defeated Cleveland 5-4. 3-3 Toronto and Kansas City, bottom of the 7th inning. Minnesota leading the Yankees 7-3. The Yankees got 3 in the first. It's in the top of the 8th now. Oakland and California 1-1 top of the 3rd.
And Vince Coleman the batter. Magadan in and on the line. And a tapper towards short. Elster will go to second. And a big out right there. So Coleman now 1 for 4. He does have a stolen base.
And Coleman goes after a bad pitch, that changeup by Ojeda. They can't get 2 in this ball, so the first one is sure. As Pena comes in on the hard slide, the takeout slide, but it wasn't necessary. No chance at first base.
So Pena out of there, and Ozzie Smith now the batter. Ozzie 1 for 3 on the afternoon. He doubled in the first inning. Coleman obviously a threat to run. 53 stolen bases on the season. And there he goes. Pitches a ball, the throw is high, and there's number 54, and he's at second with 1 away.
Well, he has been on base against the Mets in this series a total of 6 times. He's now had 4 stolen bases, and he has scored 3 runs. And Lyons throw a high throw, and a good job by Tuffle to come down with it. Otherwise, he'd have been on third.
52 for 52. Line drive, base hit, right field. Strawberry. The throw home is high. Lyons up the line. Highly unusual that Coleman would be held on a ball hit to the outfield. Rich Hacker had him held up at third, though.
This ball, a clean single to right. Should be no hesitation by Coleman to take off on it, as it's high enough to be over the infield. No doubt about it being a base hit from the minute it took off. But Coleman held up at third as he didn't get a good jump off second. That puts runners at first and third, but it does bring up Pedro Guerrero, who has driven in the only Cardinal run. Throw by Strawberry way up the line and over the cutoff man's head.
I do not think that Davy Johnson's going to allow Ojeda to pitch to Guerrero. Don Aase is ready in the bullpen. And here comes Davy with a slow walk to the mound.
The unusual part of that play, Tim, if Coleman tries to score in that ball, as it turned out, he would have scored with a bad throw, but Smith could have been on second base.
That's exactly right. I was thinking the same thing.
And Smith would represent the tying run at second instead of being first now.
As it stands, it's first and third, one out. Aase's in, and we'll be back after this word from Bud Light.
1 win and 3 losses. He's had 1 save. His earned run average at 3.47. He's walked 20, struck out 26, given up 40 hits in 46 and 2/3 innings. And he comes in with the time run at first, and Pedro Guerrero, the batter for St. Louis.
Now, you really have an interesting situation here. Smith has 23 stolen bases at first. Coleman, obviously, at third, can flat run. But would Smith try it with Guerrero, the hitter? Guerrero, on the other hand, if Smith doesn't try it, leads the, I beg your pardon, is grounded into 13 double plays. That does not lead the Cardinals. It's third behind. This one grounded to right field, base hit. Smith's going to round second and stop. Strawberry hurriedly getting the ball back to the infield. So Coleman scores. It's now a 3-2 Mets lead. Still only 1 out, and the batter, Tom Brunansky.
Well, Guerrero now with his second base hit to drive in a run in this game. He has a total of 79 now, and he has just been unbelievable with runners in scoring position, hitting well over 400. Mets just can't get him out when there have been runners on. It's his 7th hit in this 5-game series.
Brunansky 1 for 3 on the afternoon. Ozzie Smith, an obvious base stealing threat at second. Tuffle holding him close. 0-1 to Brunansky. We're in the top of the 8th inning. 3-2 Mets on top. But the Cardinals with 2 on and only 1 out. They've already plated a runner here in the 8th. On the corner, 0-2 to Brunansky. On deck batter is Terry Pendleton. Got him. Strikeout number 1 for Aase, 2 outs.
Well, the Mets memories are brought to you by the Wiz. September 11th, 1987, top of the 9th, 1 out. And the Mets leading 4-2. Terry Pendleton hit a 2-run home run off Roger McDowell to tie the ball game. The Cardinals scored 2 runs in the top of the 10th to win it. And it was the Cardinals 6, the Mets 4. And that home run turned the Mets back. The next day, Gooden lost the ball game, and the Mets, who were challenging for first, dropped back out of it.
So nobody beats the Wiz, but the Mets are trying to beat the Cardinals. They lead 3-2, bottom of the 8th, with Smith at second, Guerrero at first, and Pendleton takes ball 1. So Terry has had a good afternoon. 8 hits for the Cardinals. And this one popped up and out of play. 1-1 to Terry Pendleton. Jose Oquendo on deck. High, ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. Guerrero at first, Smith at second. 3-2 New York. 2 outs here in the 8th inning. At Wrigley. Inside and low. 3 balls and a strike. So Aase in trouble with Pendleton, who is already 2 for 3 on the afternoon. High, ball 4. So Aase comes in. He gives up an RBI single to Guerrero. And then he struck out Brunansky. And now he walks Pendleton to load it up for the Cardinals. And that'll bring up Jose Oquendo.
Well, Davey going to the bullpen here. Randy Myers will be coming in the ballgame to pitch to the switch hitter Jose Oquendo.
Davey's done his homework, as we mentioned earlier. Oquendo, 55, actually almost 60 points lower as a right-handed hitter. So Davey's going to keep him hitting right-handed. It's 3-2, bases loaded, 2 outs. And we'll be back right after this from the 9X Yellow Pages.
To the northwest side, Randy Myers comes in the ball game with a record of 6-3. He has 18 saves. This will be his 49th game this year. An earned run average of 1.70. He's walked 29, struck out 63, given up 47 hits in 63 and 2/3 innings. And he worked in yesterday's ball game to pick up his 18th save.
So Aase worked in 1/3 of an inning. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Strike 1. Oquendo 0 for 3 on the afternoon. He has struck out twice and flied to right. No place to put him. 3-2 Met lead. High, ball 1, 1-1. Ozzie Smith at third base. Guerrero at second. And Terry Pendleton at first. Popped up and out of play. So Myers is ahead of Oquendo, 1-2. The Cardinals ought to be used to facing Randy Myers. Of his last 6 appearances, 5 have been against St. Louis, and he has recorded 3 saves over that time, dating back to July 31st. Check swing. Myers can't get it. Tupple will have to hurry. Got him at first. A terrific bare-handed pickup by Tim Tupple. I think Myers got a glove on it. We'll see when we come back. Still 3-2 after 7 1/2. And we're back after this from the good old guys.
Almost a infield base hit by Oquendo. He checks the swing. He can't get out of the batter's box. The ball just does get by Randy Myers. Tupple has to make a great play. The bare hand throw, the catch and throw, and the out is made at first, and the Mets get out of it. And you see Oquendo with the late start out of the boxes. He was trying to hold up on that swing, and what a play by Tupple.
So it's a 4-3 put out. I said it appeared that Myers put a glove on it, but he didn't. Randy, when he went down, it looked like he may have sprained an ankle. He went into the dugout, he threw his glove down, ran back into the tunnel, but he's out right now. And of all the guys on the Mets 24-man roster, the one guy that they can't afford to lose is Randy Myers.
Keith Hernandez there shaking the hand of Randy Myers, and it looked like he did hurt that left ankle as you saw him kind of crow hop down the steps there, but he apparently is okay. Oh, you're right, Tim. He is the closer on this club now and nowhere else to go.
With Roger McDowell and Rick Aguilera gone, the two right-handed relievers earlier in the year, and to obtain Juan Samuel and Frank Viola, the clubs, the Philadelphia Phillies and Minnesota Twins, had to have a right-handed stopper. Sharply by Pendleton at third. McReynolds is going to try for second. Nope, he holds up after a big turn around first. So a single for McReynolds.
Dave Magadan.
Well, Kevin, with his first hit of this ball game, he now has 5 for 14 in this series, and he gets it by Pendleton. That's an accomplishment in itself. As it turns out, Coleman throws a bad throw. But by the time he got to it, McReynolds had decided it wasn't worth the gamble with no one out.
So Dave Magadan, the batter. Dave 2 for 2 with a run scored and an RBI. He has also walked. The on-deck batter, Barry Lyons. With the two left-handers coming up, it looks like Todd Worrell is now warming for the Cardinals. Todd, the right-hander, and it is Worrell and the Cardinal bullpen. Dave Ricketts, the bullpen coach, there in the foreground. And Barry Lyons on deck. 0-1 to Magadan. Still 3-2 Mets. We're in the 8th. Ball 1-1-1. Strike. You might see a hit and run here.
Good count for the hit and run play. 2 balls, 1 strike.
There goes McReynolds. Fastball, swing and a miss. The throw, safe at second.
Stolen base for McReynolds on the year, and he gets a good jump. Magadan doesn't make contact, but McReynolds beats the throw by Tony Pena as Smith takes the throw and tries to make the tag in time but can't. 66 stolen base for Kevin in his career.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Magadan now. Still nobody out. McReynolds at second. Got him on strikes. Pena on the foul tip. They're saying he dropped the ball, and now third base umpire Gary Darling said the ball hit the ground. So a reprieve for Dave Magadan. And a nice try by Pena.
Randy Marsh, the home plate umpire, didn't see it, but Gary Darling at third base did. Now here's the swing. The ball pops out, and Pena grabs it with his bare hand, and Marsh didn't see it. He calls him out. A little too obvious for the third base coach not to see that, Gary Darling.
2-2. Count remains the same to Dave Magadan. Still 2-2. I mentioned the Mets got rid of 2 right-handed short relievers. One, of course, Roger McDowell, still in that department with the Phillies. And the other, Rick Aguilera, starting pitcher. And the Minnesota Twins, Aguilera started today. The Minnesota Twins trail the Yankees 9-7. This one popped up, could be playable. Look at Pendleton.
He's going to go in there. You can't go in there without a camera.
I think he's asking Gary Darling if he could have gone over the fence then. I don't think you can.
No, you can't go into there. That's part of the grandstand area.
1 foot.
Yeah.
But not both. You got to have 1 foot on the ground.
That'd like be like going behind the fence to catch a home run, then come running out.
Still 2-2 to Magadan. This one playable. Pendleton in. And it's Pendleton who makes the play. So a big out for DePino and the Cardinals, and Barry Lyons coming up. And that's going to be all for Frank DePino as we ring up a final in Chicago.
The Phillies defeated the Cubs by a score of 5-3. So if the Mets can win here, they will be 3.5 behind the Cubs. Montreal lost their ball game, so they remain 2.5 behind.
So DePino is out of there. Todd Worrell is going to be the new pitcher. He's the third Cardinal pitcher. So DePino out as Worrell comes in. We'll have a word from the New Jersey Bell Yellow Pages. We'll be right back.
Worrell, the new pitcher for the Cardinals, with a record 2-3. He's had 16 saves. This will be his 37th appearance. An earned run average of 2.34. He's walked 22, struck out 33, given up 32 hits, and 42 in the third innings. Worrell pitched in yesterday's ball game, worked 1 inning, gave up a base hit to Gary Carter, and also walked Dave Magadan.
When Magadan was hitting, here's the play by Pena. Watch Lyons in this play. It's Lyons who snaps. So it's Barry Lyons who calls the chicanery on his counterpart, Tony Pena.
And it will be Lyons here.
Yeah, you got an interesting situation here. 1 out, McReynolds at second. Do you pitch to Lyons or Elster? Because Myers is third up. He's going to pitch to Lyons. And if he gets him out, they'll walk Elster. This one looped to left center. It could drop. Smith back, but he makes the play. So I would imagine they're going to walk Kevin Elster with Randy Myers on deck and nobody warming up in the bullpen.
The shortstop, Kevin Elster.
And Elster also has been a hot batter. And Herzog trying to get Tony Pena's attention to put him on.
Whitey's doing his homework. Both managers, very shrewd guys. You saw Davey Johnson bringing in Randy Myers to pitch to Oquendo when Oquendo hit 60 points lower as a right-handed hitter. And now Herzog, knowing how hot Elster has been, Myers is 0 for 3 on the afternoon, or Lyons is 0 for 3. And he realizes that Davey Johnson's going to go with Myers in the bottom, or in the top of the 9th inning. So that's why they're walking Elster intentionally.
Myers has been at bat just 3 times this year without a base hit.
The pitcher, number 48, Randy Myers.
To Randy Myers, his love of hitting outweighing his talent for hitting.
He talks a lot about his hitting. Of course, he did play outfield and first base when he was in high school.
Oh, and 2 to Myers. Everybody getting a big kick out of him. He is, however, 4 for 15 with an RBI in his career, and would love to pick up one here. They're laughing at his approach more than anything else. Randy out of there on 3 straight pitches. First strikeout for Worrell. Myers disgustedly kicking his bat toward the dugout. It's 3-2 Mets after 8. We're back after this from RC Cola.
For the 8th inning, Kevin McReynolds stole the base, and Richard Fritz Morris is now in the drawing for a new Nissan 300ZX. And he entered the Nissan stolen base game at his participating Nissan dealer. Why don't you? Whoever thought you could win a new car by encouraging stealing? Richard Fritz Morris of New York.
Milt Thompson leads it off for the Cardinals here in the 9th. 3-2 Met lead. Thompson squared around to bunt, and he takes strike 1. To Thompson. Check swing, fouled off. 0-2. A game delayed by rain, an hour and 6 minutes. And at the present time, the Mets are glad they played it, obviously. They scored 2 in the 3rd, 1 in the 6th. The Cardinals with 1 in the 6th and 1 in the 8th.
Doesn't like the call, but this fastball right down the middle. No doubt about it by Randy Marsh, as Thompson argues momentarily, then goes to the bench. Randy Myers, who had struck out his last at bat, picks up his first strikeout here. Here's Myers on 3 pitches. He was struck out by Todd Worrell. He throws the bat down and goes back toward the dugout. Now everybody in the dugout try to turn away. They're not going to laugh while he's coming back. At least don't let Randy see you laugh as Strawberry turns his back on it.
Jim Lindemann pinch hitting for Todd Worrell. Lifts one to right center, and the catch is made by Juan Samuel for the 2nd out. And the batter, Tony Pena. Jim Lindemann, 2 for 22 on the season as a pinch hitter. So it certainly has not been his sport this year. Pena entered the game in the 8th inning, and he walked off Bobby Ojeda. If Myers can hold on, Ojeda will win his 4th straight decision. Outside, ball 1. The Cubs have lost their game. The Expos have lost their game. If the Mets win, they will be 3.5 behind Chicago and 1 behind the Expos. Strike 1, 1-1. At Shea Stadium. 2 balls and 1 strike to Tony Pena. The Mets' road record in 1-run games is a disaster. 3-20. Ball 3, 3-1. Vince Coleman, the on-deck batter. Fouled away, 3-2 to Pena. 2 outs, nobody on. 3-2 New York. We're in the 9th inning. Fly ball right field, and that should do it. Strawberry squeezes it, and the Mets win. The Cardinals came into town tied with the New York Mets, and they leave town 3 games behind New York, and the Mets have moved to within 3.5 of the Chicago Cubs. The winning pitcher, Bobby Ojeda, who evens his record at 9-9. Randy Myers, his 19th save of the season and his 5th against the Cardinals in 7 tries. A lot of key plays in this game, an excellent ball game. 3 errors by the Cardinals, Ralph, 1 critical error, and that allowed what was to be the go-ahead run and the winning run.
Bad throw by Ozzie Smith trying to get a throw to Oquendo at second base that allowed the Mets to get their 3rd run, which proved to be the winning run. And errors by Pendleton, Smith, and Oquendo, and that's really unusual in any game for the St. Louis Cardinals.
So the Mets now 8-6 against the Cardinals this year, and the key point is they are 3.5 behind Montreal. Ralph and I will be back with further comments after this from Nissan. Along with Ralph Kiner back at Shea Stadium. The Mets have beaten the St. Louis Cardinals for the 4th time in the last 5 games, and it was Darryl Strawberry who squeezes it for the final out.
And Randy Myers making his contribution to the ball game, picking up the save. He pitched to 4 batters, retired them all. But it was a great play by Tuffle on a check swing ground ball to second that really saved the ball game for the Mets, as Tuffle made a barehanded pickup of a ball hit by Oquendo and got the out at first with a time run at that time at 3rd.
And to the victors goes the spoils. And I guess Davey Johnson, Ralph, has got to be spoiled by the way the Mets have been playing lately. I mean, they look and resemble more, I think, the last 3 weeks like the ball club that won the 1987 or 88 Eastern Division and the world champions of 86. They have really been playing great baseball.
Well, it all started with the acquisition of Frank Viola, and that was in St. Louis. The Mets split that series with the St. Louis Cardinals, but they played outstanding baseball from that point on, and now here they have won 4 out of 5 from St. Louis, and this was a big series for both of these ball clubs, and the Mets did come out on top.
Yeah, baseball is a game of rationalizing, and I guess if you had to rationalize Bobby Ojeda's season, you'd have to say that he had control problems early in the season, but he has really come on like gangbusters lately, winning his 4 last decisions, 4 straight decisions, and he has not lost a ball game in his last 6 outings. So Bobby Ojeda, the Budweiser star of the game. And Ralph and I will be back with further comments and to wrap it up right up to this from Bud Light. Today over the St. Louis Cardinals, 3-2. The line on the game, 3-5-0. Bobby Ojeda, the winner. His record now 9-9. And Ken Hill, the loser. Ken's record now 6-9 as the Mets beat the St. Louis Cardinals 3-2. And from here on out, I should say from here until September 5th, the Mets will be playing all West Coast teams. Actually, September 4th will be the return engagement of the Eastern Division clubs. That it'll be all West Coast teams for the Mets. They play 6 against San Diego, 6 against the Dodgers, and 6 against San Francisco. The Mets winners today, 3-2. Ralphie Boyd, take it over.
New York Mets baseball has been brought to you by Anheuser-Busch. We brew our fine quality beers to be enjoyed responsibly. Remember, know when to say when. By Manufacturers Hanover, the financial source worldwide. By Nissan, building cars for people who want more than just a means of getting from here to there. Nissan, built for the human race. By Sunoco. By your good olds guys. By The Wiz. Remember, for anything in home entertainment, nobody beats The Wiz. And by RC Cola. Some people will go out of their way for the taste of RC. Our guests will receive from Verdi Travelwear a new modern tweed luggage set made of strong, extra durable fabric, ideal for long wear. Verdi Travelwear, available at fine stores everywhere. Also a sharp, remote-controlled compact disc player with 8 times oversampling and 20-track programmability. The new point of view from Sharp Audio. The executive producer of Mets Baseball 89 is Rick Miner. Produced and directed by Jeff Mitchell. Associate producer Steve Obaum. Associated directors were John Calabrese and Vince Napoli. The announcers on the preceding telecast were approved and contracted for by Sterling Doubleday Enterprises. This has been a presentation of WWOR-TV Sports.